Welcome to Bank on Her. I'm Makenzie Conklin, and I teach you how to make confidence a strength in and out of your business so you can build self-made wealth and unrealistic success on your terms. I've gone from defeatingly low self-worth to a multiple six-figure entrepreneur by learning how to bank on myself, and I believe you can do it too. Listen to find out how. Hey everyone, today's episode will likely be short. It will not be sweet. Let me tell you that much. Today's episode, I am going to basically intentionally try and piss you off. So I want you to make sure you're listening to this when you can really be in the headspace for doing an activity. And this can just be, I don't care if you're cleaning your kitchen, going on a walk, laying in bed, doesn't really matter. Just try and be present with this episode. And I think it'll really help you. So this is more of, I'll just call it an activity-based episode. And this is something that I do with my clients. And I honestly do with myself too, when, they're either struggling to believe in themselves or when they feel upset that things aren't working out as they planned or as they expected with their business or life goals. So to preface, let me just say, going into this episode, I have some more unusual approaches when it comes to helping women build confidence. It is very common that clients will come to me feeling that coaching or even just their own attempts to build confidence in the past has been a lot of encouragement. Maybe they've had some mentorship, right? Or they've just been told that they need to coach themselves and feel better. That's not my style. I am so against false pretenses and just trying to make, my clients feel better or just encouraging them without addressing the deeper fears and thoughts going on. I always think of, whenever I talk about this, I always think of, if anyone's watched Grey's Anatomy, I used to watch it in high school when I think it was, their names are Christina and Meredith, the two best friends. They always talked about being like dark and twisted. Sometimes I think of my coaching that way. So if you're coming to work with me, we're going to do the harder shit. We're going to do the uncomfortable shit. We're going to do the sillier, difficult things. It is silly still, just to get you to true, deep, authentic confidence. So something that is super important to me in general is that women aren't putting on this mask or this facade or bravado of confidence or just feeling confident when things are going well. I want the full-time confidence. And so sometimes we have to do the harder things to get there. And so this episode will really help with that. So I want to say that, again, this activity I will use, if I feel my brain or I see my client's brain slipping into the state of upset that something's not working or when doubt starts to pop up, I'll use this. So actually this morning, where this episode is coming from, I noticed rather, having a very quick, fleeting question. It was so quick. I think it's hard to even notice these, but I had this fleeting thought of, well, what if this doesn't work out? And most people will ignore this. They'll leave it, they'll let it cross their mind, and then just kind of, well, that was quick. It doesn't really matter anyway. I don't really feel that way. And let it go. Right? So when something like that pops up in my head, and this has been such a huge factor of me building the confidence that I have and, being such an insecure person and now teaching confidence to women across the globe, when something like this pops up, I let myself air out all the doubt. I do not suppress it. I don't try and tell myself that, I'm really feeling confident or everything's going to work out. I bring out all the ickiness, all the horribleness that's hiding behind that question. I let out all the doubt, the fear, the shame, the scarcity. I let it all out and I just let it run its course. But the key thing is I don't actually invest into it. And so I want to just quickly touch on this. I used to talk about a concept called the thought fund. It's somewhere on my TikTok. And it's this idea where if I had, if I had money to invest in something, the same way you have money that you might invest into a stock, I'm not going to invest in the, poor performing stocks, or I'm not going to invest in, rather with the thought fund, I'm not going to invest in shitty or unsupportive thoughts, just like the stocks, you want to invest in ones that are good and going up, right? So same with your thoughts. I don't, in this activity, when I let all these thoughts out, when I give them the space, I'm not investing into them. I'm very meticulous not to believe them, just to give them the space. And I'm going to explain why in the episode. So I won't invest my time, energy, thought fund into those thoughts. I just give them that space. So then what I'll do is sometimes, not always, but I would say there's particular times when I'll use this activity that I'm going to take you guys through where I'm going to intentionally try and piss you off, is what this activity really is. I will sometimes do this. And so What I did this morning was after I got all after that fleeting question, I got all the doubt and thoughts out. And then I actually encouraged myself to find some fire in there, to find some anger, because I always find that there's value behind the anger. And I've seen this happen with clients before, where if I tease out some of that uncertainty and doubt they have, I can get them a little angry, and it's very controlled, let me say. And I like when they get angry sometimes because behind that anger, there's value. So, what I actually am going to do today is intentionally piss you off. Okay. I'm going to really try hard to piss you off a little bit. So, keep that in mind. It's just, I want you to think of this episode as trying on this whether like jacket or bubble or hat of anger for a couple minutes with me. And so this morning when I was, having those thoughts, what I ended up getting angry about when I tried to get myself to get a little fiery about it, I ended up journaling that. Hopefully this pisses you off too, because I'm going to try and use it to get you mad. But I was so mad about this. There's straight up no reason that other women need to be pissing away their savings, investing endlessly in their business, whether they're making no sales or a lot of sales and still not profiting off their business. There's just no reason at all. Every single person listening to this has the ability to profit if that's what they want, and profit big. Every single woman listening to this has it in you times 100 on repeat. I really believe that. And so it makes me so sad. And this is where the fire came in. It makes me so sad that there's women who don't have that happening. It makes me so sad. And I get really emotional about it because I really do believe, everyone listening, that when you make confidence a strength, when you see the value of your worth, when you have the skill to turn a little bit of belief into a tsunami of confidence, which is what I really help my clients do, there's nothing you can't do. You can go out and you can do anything you want. And I know, I'm going to keep saying this, you guys, because it's super important. And I know this because I was the most insecure person I knew. And I turned a little inkling baby person, little voice in my head saying that used to tell me just so quietly, maybe we're meant for something a little more. I took that little voice and turned it into this massive business where I coach women across the globe with confidence and earning money and building richer lives, right? So I know if I can do it, anyone can do it. So every single person listening has the ability to profit and profit big. I just think it's possible. So I want you to see that I took this question of what if this thing in my business doesn't work, this fleeting question of doubt, to airing out all of these unsupportive thoughts. And I led it to this place of, getting fired up that women aren't profiting more. Because you know why? I know how to help women profit. I really want you to see the nuance of what I just said. So I went from a fleeting question of what if this doesn't work? What if I can't do this? To I know how to help women profit. I know what I'm doing. I'm really good at what I do. And that's kind of the activity that I'm taking you through today, right? So I know how to help women profit. Every single client who comes into my containers makes more money. I even lowered the price on unlimited. I cut it in half to make it even easier for women to profit. And the women inside make $10,000 to $100,000. And the amount is totally dependent on them, but they do even cooler things. They just make their lives richer, unrealistic success. They do crazy things, chop off their hair, move to Thailand, buy, a designer bag. It doesn't matter. So what I really did was take myself from what if it doesn't work to selling myself on myself of, I help women profit and do all these cool things over and over and over again. I take those who have been stagnated and years trying but not seeing success, those who have been stuck at the same income level for months and months, and turning them into these powerhouse women who made confidence a strength and went on to make 100K on repeat, to do all these crazy things with their life that they didn't believe possible. See how I went from doubt and I sold myself on myself. I went from doubt to belief. I want to take you through that activity that I did with myself and that I do with my clients. And usually I do this, with someone. There's a conversation, but I'm going to try and do my best to replicate it here for you on this episode. So many of my clients will initially struggle with this, and you might too, because many women are shamed to believe that they need to put on the happy face, they need to be nice and not unkind. They've been force-fed the idea over and over and over that they have to believe in themselves at any cost and love their business and trust everything is going to work out with their, in their lives, when they don't actually believe that. And so with this activity, it might seem against your conditioning or against what most people will tell you to do, but go with me just for 10 minutes, okay? Just 10 minutes, try and run the activity with me. So let's dive into it. So what I want you to do is for the next 10 minutes is be in a place where you can just let yourself be angry with me on this topic. If you are not ready to get a little angry on this episode and try this, come back and listen to it at another time. That's totally okay. But if you're ready and you're intrigued, let's go do it. So if the topic of, I want to make more fucking money in my business doesn't work for you, choose another. Even if someone listening to this is like, oh no, I'm perfectly where I want to be and everything is going perfectly well and fine. Whatever, you're lying. But also I can guarantee that there's at least something in your life that's getting you a little confused, upset, angry, whatever. Whether it's, there's a friend you're upset at, or you're mad at your mediocre boss for being a mediocre boss, or you're upset, the dinner last night you made that you thought was going to be really good was mundane. I don't care. Whatever it is, choose your anger. Let's get into it. So are you ready for me to intentionally piss you off? Hopefully. So I'm going to go with the business example for right now. So what got me so angry, right? And that I'm going to try and get you angry with is the idea that you don't, and I truly believe this, you don't need to be perfectly healed and put on this confident face all the time. You do not need to pretend you believe in yourself all the time if you don't, because what's really exhausting is doing that. That is exhausting to pretend when it's not fully there. And so I want you to let the anger out that you were told you could make $100,000 like it was freaking store-bought box cake. Be fucking angry. Let it out. Meet the part of you that feels shitty about yourself. Meet the parts of yourself that are sitting there thinking, how fucking long is it going to take me to make the amount of wealth that I'm wanting? Meet the part of you that's angry there. Let down the lies that you occasionally tell yourself that, money flows to me and I'm going to make this business into the biggest thing ever. And I believe I can do anything I set my mind to. All of those things, just put them down for 10 minutes. All the things that you say to try and sugarcoat the shitty feelings of being unsure if your business or the goals that you have or whatever you're wanting right now will work. Get mad with me on this episode. Get really mad that you're not where you want to be yet. Let her out, let her rage, let her be sad, cry, throw the tantrum. Feel the full spectrum of human emotions that you most definitely do have. Seriously. Okay, stop suppressing it. Stop suppressing the full range of your emotions. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to feel shitty. It's okay to have this fiery passion in you that you haven't let out in this way in a long time. And if you don't have anything that's immediately popping up in your mind, you at least, I know this, have fleeting questions of doubt that crosses your mind of, what if this doesn't work? What if I don't, make 10K this month? What if the relationship I'm in doesn't end up working out? What if I don't end up getting the body that I'm working so hard for? What if that friend and I aren't ever close again? Dive into, if you have fleeting questions of doubt in your mind that, just really quickly cross your mind, dive into the thoughts under there. Give them the space, the doubt, the anger, the confusion, the resentment, until you reach the level of, well, if we're going business, well, this offer is fucking amazing. Why wouldn't they want this offer? Why wouldn't that friend want to be close with me? I want the body that I want. Go there. Go there to that energy. Let it out. Get mad that you don't make more. Get mad that you're not profitable in business yet. Get pissed as hell that you've invested and haven't seen the results you're damn capable of. Because what I'm doing here and what I want to pull out of you is, behind all the icky emotions is the passion. Behind all of the emotion that you've been suppressing by trying to maintain composure and confidence and certainty all the time in yourself is likely the real belief that you've got. Okay? So when you suppress all those thoughts, you're giving, what you're actually doing, very unintentionally, obviously, is giving the doubt, the unsupportive thoughts, the fear, the shame, the silence it needs to grow. I'll say it again. When you are suppressing the unsupportive thoughts, when you just let the fleeting thoughts go, when you don't let the full fiery passion come out that you've got, you're giving your doubt, your shame, the fear, the unsupportive thoughts, the silence it needs to grow. So if you're out here pretending that you believe in yourself all the time, performative confidence, whatever, and you're putting on the pretty little face, pretty little smile and think everything's fine and dandy, and you give yourself the mantras and convince yourself that everything's going to work out perfectly if you don't believe it, right? You're giving All of those things, the silence they need to grow. So right now, let out the part of you who is pissed you spent a lot of money, who's pissed the client didn't sign when you knew you could have helped them, who's annoyed as hell that you work out so hard at the gym all the time and you're not seeing a change, that, who's pissed that the date you went on a few weeks ago that you didn't even like that much didn't text you back. Let it out. Stop oppressing your own emotions. You're being your own oppressor when you do that. Let it out. Stop putting on the good fucking face to try and get yourself to believe all the time if it doesn't feel like it. You are putting so much energy into suppressing it and ignoring it and telling yourself it's all going to work out and there's no way you can fail. But I don't think you believe that, right? And when you're expending all that energy there, you're not operating 100% on actually going after what it is you want and creating what you want. You're using half your energy to try and make yourself feel better so you can keep going. I want to be really clear here too. What I'm not asking you to do is to feed the doubt. That's not what I'm doing. What we're not doing on this episode is feeding the doubt you've already fed for days, months, years by suppressing it or pretending it's all fine. Or on the flip side, you just let it take over completely. You've let doubt overcome all your thoughts. You've just given into it, right? We're not feeding into any of that today. So for this episode, I only want you to lay out the part of you who's pissed you've spent a lot of money, who's pissed the client didn't sign, that you could have helped. Let out the part that's annoyed, that you're not seeing results at the gym, that mediocre date you went on didn't text back. Let it out. I don't want you being your own oppressor. Okay. I want the fiery anger for 10 minutes. I want you to get mad with me. Get mad with me. Okay. Follow the train of thought I'm going to take you on here. So I'm going to show you an example of what it might look like with my clients when they're tapped into the anger. Okay. So it might look like, they'll say something like, what the fuck? Why isn't this further? The person I went on a date with is honestly a little boring. I should have better results by now at the gym. I squat just a shit ton. I know I can help people. I invested a lot of money into my business and I know I can do this. Why not me? Remember, don't lean into shame here, by the way. Let just out the anger. If other people are doing it and I'm just as smart, I can do this too. I know I can create 100K on repeat. I know I can freaking do this. I'm amazing. I want you to just see for a minute, and I'll do this example again, but I want you to see what just came out. I really want you to see this. So clients will come to me being like, it's not working. I don't know. And they try and suppress the anger, suppress the doubt, and just make themselves feel better. But what I want them to do is lean into the anger, because the thought process that I just followed right there was leaning. I stoked the fire of the anger, right? And where they got with that thought track was, I can do this. I know I can create the money. I'm amazing. I know I can make this work. That's belief. That's the real belief. That's the belief that you have in yourself. You think you're amazing, that you know you can do it, right? And so my clients will actually joke a lot that I trick them into belief with this activity, right? So they'll be like, well, I don't think it's working and nothing's working and, things aren't happening and I'm so, or they'll just be like, I just don't believe it is. It's not working. And I will get them to this point where they're like, yeah, no, I can do this. I like this activity. So all of that belief, the real belief of what you think about yourself, has just been suppressed under all of the doubt, the fear, the what ifs, the, performative competence, the pretty little smile you've been painting to hide what you're really uncertain of, right? And it is okay. It's okay to be uncertain. You've got belief under all of that. An incredibly, I always laugh at this, an incredibly common misconception people have about me, whether it's my clients, people who, see me on the internet, people in my life, they think I don't have doubt, which is laughable. They think I don't ever question myself because I come off as so confident. And sometimes my clients, they want to argue with me. They want to argue that I never have doubt. And I have to argue back that I do. I am human. I have doubt. Confidence is not, this is super key. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. I really think confidence is a byproduct of understanding how to work through that doubt and not invest into it. And so what I want you to do here with this activity is feel the full spectrum of human emotions, right? So this morning, for example, when I had that fleeting question of doubt, I could have just pushed it away. I could have ignored it and not invested into it. But instead, I let it run rampant. I gave it space. And the other thing, the very important thing here is that I also have the skill to, control it and lead that back to belief. So that's a huge skill that I work on with my clients, is taking the doubt and turning it to belief instead of letting it run wild and letting it take over. So this morning, I let the doubt run rampant for a minute, and I let it have its space and time instead of just, trying to pass by it. Because the reason is thoughts like that don't go away. They don't float away. They come back, they dig in, and the silence grows it. And so what people will end up doing is they'll either ignore it and the thoughts dig in, or they'll put so much energy into pretending they feel better, suppressing the fear, telling themselves it's all going to work out. Then there's no way they can fail when they don't believe it. And again, you're not operating on 100% there. So I want you to give the space to let out the anger for a minute, and I'll lead you back to the belief. I promise. We'll go through it again. Give it the space to go. Let the emotion out. Because here's the thing. If you let out the doubt, if you give the shame, the fear, the doubt, if you take it out of the silence, you can have a conversation with it. That's what I really want you to understand, is what I'm doing here is giving myself and my clients, when we run this activity, space to have a conversation with that. So if you're having all this doubt and you just suppress it, or you just let it, be a fleeting thought that eventually comes back, what will actually happen is that you're going to believe it, right? But if you give it a little space to roam and exist and you acknowledge it, you can start having a conversation with the doubt or fear, or be angry with it. That gives you the space to talk back. You and your doubt can have this conversation. But when you let it exist in your head, when you let that doubt and fear and shame exist, it just sounds like your voice. The shame, the fear, the doubt just sounds like your voice, but it's not. So that's why we let it out, is so that you can see that it's got its own voice and you have your own voice. And the anger activity that I'm taking you through here is you having a conversation with it. The other thing I want to acknowledge that will sometimes happen with my clients in this activity, and this is, I think, going to be more helpful for you guys to see too, this example, is that sometimes they'll want to sink into the doubt because it's more normal for them. It's their default. They can't even tap into the anger sometimes because the doubt is too heavy. So if your narrative is, well, I don't believe in myself, Makenzie, I just don't believe I can do it. It's so ingrained in me that I'm not enough, that I can't do it. I tell them to get angry that they don't believe in themselves then. Well, get angry that you don't believe in yourself, because belief is still on the other side of it. Try for just this episode. So if that's you, let's try again. I'm going to show you another iteration of the conversation between yourself and the shame and doubt and fear, so that you can see that it's all that, it's not your voice. So let's play it out. I'll role play it out with you. Also, let me just say before going into this role play, remember that with this, we're not going into shame. If you're listening to this and getting stuck in shame, come message me on Instagram. I'll personally walk your ass through this. Okay? Don't get stuck in that. Allow the anger just for a couple minutes, not the shame. So here's what it'll sound like with a client. They will say something like, well, I'm not angry. I just don't feel like I can do it. I don't feel like I will ever make enough money at this rate to get where I want to go. And I will tell them, okay, be a little angry about that. Are you angry that you won't ever make enough money? See how I'm stoking the fire a little bit. And they'll say, well, yeah, I guess, like I'm angry that I can't do it. And if I keep just poking them a little bit in a very controlled manner, by the way, they'll usually get to, well, I spend so much time suppressing or trying to believe that I can do this when honestly, I just don't believe I can. I just don't think I can get to that massive salary where I'm saving and living the life that I want to live and have this retirement fund and can hire the team and all of that. What I usually ask my clients then is, what's that like? Is that annoying? Are you pissed off about that? Are you tired of feeling that way? Are you tired of being tired around this? Right? And I'll get that anger going, and that's where it really takes off. And they'll tell me, here's where the conversation usually takes a turn. They'll say, yeah, it's draining to believe that I can't do it. And I'm tired of believing that I can't do it. It's so fucking annoying. It's annoying because my brain's just constantly telling me that I'm not enough. And I'll say, okay, cool. Is it true that you're not enough? And, they'll usually say yes because they're still in a little doubt. And the response is some variation of, well, I have this mountain of proof that it's true that I'm not enough because I don't have the results that I want. And then I'll ask, okay, are you angry about that? Are you angry that you don't have results? See what I'm doing here? And I'm sorry if you're like, this is not my style. That's okay. It doesn't have to be, but my clients love it. And so usually with, the right question on my part, we without fail get to them saying something like, yeah, you know what? I am angry that I don't have results. I'm angry that I'm not profiting. I'm over pretending that I believe when sometimes I just don't. I am angry. I don't have the results. I'm over it because I'm tired of not being where I want to be and constantly shaming myself for not being good enough. Like I've grown so much and I've done so many things and I still just shame myself and I'm sick of it. I want this business to work. I'm so determined to stop exhausting myself and make it easier on myself and make this work. I'm going to do this. It's my time. I can do this. I know I can make this work. I there's just no way I can't do it. Do you hear that? I dig into them until I find the belief. Do you see what I just did in that whole conversation of my monologue pretending I'm talking to a client? I asked questions until I found the belief because it's always there, you guys. You would not have started this business. You wouldn't be talking to me. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't have some belief there, right? It's there. It's always there. Go listen to this episode again if you have to, right? But try and get yourself in this 10-minute of this safe little box of anger. And okay, here's the other thing too. Do not get angry at other people. Do not get angry at yourself, right? So a little tangent here. Some of the best advice I've actually ever gotten was when I was younger. And I was not big to show emotions. I was a very, very shy child. And so what I would do in, I think, like elementary school, middle school, high school, actually, is I would come home from school and I have a lot of emotions. So it's not like I don't have them. I just used to be so shy that I didn't let them out. Ironic that I'm telling you an episode about letting out your emotions and how I used to not do it. But I would come home and I would unleash all that emotion on my mom. Oh, I'm going to cry. It's so sad. My mom is literally an angel. She is the sweetest woman I know. Everyone says it too. It's not just, I'm not biased here. She's genuinely the sweetest. And I would come home and I would unleash all my emotions on her because, she was someone who I was always safe with her. She was always going to love me. Right. And it's so sad and horrible. So I'd unleash my emotions on her because I knew she wouldn't leave me. Right. And someone once told me when I was younger, if you're going to fire hydrant, right? And that's what it is. I would come home and just unleash this like pounding weight of, emotions. So someone told me, if you're going to fire hydrant, aim it somewhere. Don't aim it at her. And so I want you to take that piece of advice into this activity. And this is really key here, you guys, with this activity and just the coaching in general. Do not aim the fire hydrant at your business ever. Do not aim it at your clients or the people you're talking to ever. Do not aim it at yourself ever. You've already done that enough. Just aim the fire hydrant into open air. Just into the open air, fire hydrant into the blank space, okay? I want you to just tap into the anger for those 5 minutes until you tap into the belief. And if you need help, again, come talk to me about it. I'm here, okay? So I want you to see that under all this fear and doubt and shame, you can dig until you find belief. It's like think about if you were in a desert and it looks like there's no water. If you keep digging and digging and digging, and you're going to find belief just like you find water, right? So dig until you find the belief because you do believe in yourself. You can do it. If we go back to how I started this episode, there is no reason you can't do this. And that's what got me mad this morning. Straight up, there's no reason anyone needs to erode their actual belief they had starting this business and feeling like they're eating up their savings and not profiting, even if they're making big money, just because they, haven't seen what they wanted yet, or they've worked incredibly hard. They've built this 6-figure business. They still feel like they're not making enough money or getting far enough. None of that. There's no reason. Everyone listening can do this. Everyone listening to this, I really do believe this. Everyone can make $100,000 on repeat. And let me say too, all that could happen is that you reach the conclusion at the end of this episode that you can't find the belief and you're not worthy and you're not blank, fill in the blank enough to succeed. You're not enough, period. And so when my clients get to this point, in a coaching container, right, where I'm talking to them, I can get them to believe no matter what. But if you're doing this alone, let me just ask yourself, is it ultimately true that you're not enough? Something I'll say to my clients is it etched into the sky? Is there literally some universal law that say, Makenzie cannot possibly succeed? Is it written somewhere in like in the universe that you just can't do this? And it's a yes or no answer. And if it's no, which it's always no, then it's not true. It's just not true that you're not enough, right? So just try. Just try listening to this episode and getting mad, because behind all of it, there's passion. There's usually almost always, actually, every time it's tried, at least when I do it with my clients, a silver lining of belief. And when you find that, expand on it, drop the anger, get into the energy of, yeah, I am great. And you know what? I am doing this. I'm fantastic. I'm, the best fucking catch on the West Coast. I'm damn good at helping my clients. I'm meant to be an entrepreneur. People love to hear what I have to say. People think I'm bold and impressive, and I love myself, and I can do this, and I've got this. Then go run with that energy. Try it out. Okay? Bank on yourself. You deserve it. And again, if you need help with this episode, because it can be a lot, seriously, just come talk to me. My doors are always open, and I'm here to help you believe in yourself. That's what I really care about. And I actually just posted something the other day, and people ate up how I made my clients. Basically, what I wrote a post about was I made my clients speak to me how they speak to themselves and how cruel it really is, and they didn't even know it. And now this, and I'm like, I get my clients mad. So I have some weirder techniques, but they always work. That's why my clients are very successful. So I'll say too, if you are someone who works with people, be very careful doing this activity. I've coached a lot of women. I know it does and doesn't work. Don't just go triggering your clients, or trying to intentionally piss them off without any purpose. Use your own style here. So my clients know I'm this empathetic but irreverent boundary pusher. I'm not a cute little sweet, encouraging, nice coach. Even though I really believe in them, we're going to get through the hard shit together, right? So that's why my clients succeed so much. We deal with the hard, scary parts together, and they come out the other side profiting and doing all the fun things like moving to Thailand, moving to the UK, I don't know, all the fun, unrealistic success things. And so try this out. If you need help, come talk to me. But I really hope you like this episode. And exciting news, if you do like more of the funky, bold, unapologetic, unbothered approach to building confidence and making money, I have a new free training out right now. So it's called Richer on Repeat, and it will be a live webinar that I'm teaching on November 1st at 3 p.m. EST. So we're going to be covering the reason you don't have more results in your business, the 3 skills that help me make $100,000 on repeat over and over and over, both in sales and cash. We're going to talk about the coaching I've given my clients that's taken them from slow business, stagnating success, earning money, but not earning the big money they want to, 2 to 8xing their cash, moving abroad, doing the crazy things. We're going to talk about all that too. So come sign up. You can go to the link in my show notes to register. And again, that's on November 1st. And then after the training, that's when the doors to Unlimited are opening, and it's going to be so fun. So come, and I hope to see you there. Thank you all for listening, and I can't wait for you to all come blow up my DMs and talk to me about what came up for you in this episode. Exciting news! The doors to my group program Unlimited are opening soon. This program is for female founders who want to build audacious self-belief and the skills to create $100,000 on repeat through confident marketing. The program is 6 months of weekly coaching, 30 plus bite-sized video curriculum, community support, and the 25% Richer project, where we get you 25% emotionally and financially richer in terms of profit or pay. Doors open on Halloween, so October 31st, and are only open for 3 weeks. So mark your calendars. And those who join before November 2nd will receive a VIP day with me. Check the episode info for all the links, and thanks for listening.